Gaming Albino.
Long time no see everyone, I'm the Gaming Albino, and in my opinion, Mario Kart Wii is one of the best games in the whole franchise. It may not have the slick HD graphics that we're used to, but when I pick up that plastic steering wheel, I feel like a kid all over again. This game has some of the most memorable tracks in the entire series, and I'm going to count down my favorites for you in this video. Just as a heads up, I'm not including retro tracks on this list. Without further ado, let's speed into the countdown. Number 10. Toad's Factory. I think Toad's been watching a little too much Willy Wonka, because for some reason he thought it was a good idea to open up a dangerous factory. The beginning of the course consists of hydraulic presses that can easily crush you. You can manage to squeeze by them off to the sides, but I feel the risk is necessary in order to take the lead by going through the speed conveyor belts found throughout the track. After heading outside, you run into more conveyor belts loaded with crates that can hinder your performance if hit. Continuing on, you enter a room with, you guessed it, more conveyor belts, except these ones change directions from time to time. Nearing the end of the race, players exit the factory into a construction yard full of mud that can be avoided by hitting speed booths hidden under the moving machinery. I would have put this track higher on the list, except this is one of the most dangerous and hazardous factories I've ever seen. It's only a matter of time until it gets shut down. Number 9. What would Mario Kart be without Rainbow Road? Working your way through every cup, testing your abilities, and improving your skills. This is the moment you've been building up to. Racing on this challenging and twisted yet beautiful track. Starting the race a lot like a roller coaster, you make your way down this tricky 90-degree slope, which you can easily be knocked off by other players. You perform tricks and sharp turns while avoiding the competition. Next is the most difficult part of the track, the cursed figure 8. One of 3 scenarios will happen. You'll go around the giant holes, try to jump over them to save time, or you'll be like me and fall right in. After going through a launch star, you make your way through a few more twists and turns to reach the finish line. This track is very unforgiving with a lack of barriers, but compared to other Rainbow Roads, it doesn't innovate that much. Regardless, it's still a fun course that easily earned the number 9 place on my list. Number 8. At first glance, Grumble Volcano doesn't look that interesting. You drive through a volcano trying not to fall off the sides. But unlike Rainbow Road, this track is amazingly innovative. As you progress each lap, the road itself starts falling apart. So as you continue driving, the track progressively gets more and more difficult. On top of that, you're avoiding debris and enemies on the ground. By no means is this a perfect track, but I really enjoy it. Number 7. Right away we go from one lava level to another. Bowser's Castle is one of those tracks I look forward to in every Mario Kart game. The creepy atmosphere, the devilish traps are just some of the things I look forward to. Starting the race, you hit a few boost panels and soar towards the castle. Getting past the curvy hallway, you avoid thwomps and make your way to a pit where a Mecha Bowser will begin blasting fireballs at you. To stay in first place, you'll have to use the half pipes on the side to avoid the mud. Continuing, there are more thwomps and fireballs in the way. If you manage to make it past those, you've reached the last stretch of the race and have exited the castle. But Bowser has one more trick up his sleeve. Random geysers erupt lava from the ground. If you hit one of these, you can say goodbye to first place. Every second this track is keeping you on the edge of your tippy toes. Turn your head for 1 second before you know it, you're 8th place. I really enjoy this track. The only nitpick I have is I wished it was longer. Number 6. Even before Mario Kart 8's flying hang gliders, Mario Kart Wii's Mushroom Gorge was keeping racers off the roads. Beginning the race on a dirt road, players are forced to bounce over a mushroom. First time playing, this can be pretty difficult, so the track gets players used to bouncing on 1 or 2 mushrooms at a time, which is very smart, because afterwards you turn into a cave that only consists of mushrooms. To this day, I still fall into the bottomless pit. It's especially difficult when you're hit by an item or surrounded by a whole bunch of players. This is a very short track, but it manages to teach players a new mechanic that makes lots of appearances throughout the game. Number 5. A track inside a shopping mall. I'm honestly surprised it took Nintendo this long to think of this idea. The premise is so perfect for Mario Kart. Entering a mall, players race up escalators that change directions each lap. Jumping over fountains, going up escalators, and racing downstairs, players avoid trees and tables, and make their way outside of the mall. This is the best part of the race in my opinion. Jumping out of the ceiling, you make your way to the parking lot. And before you can make it to the finish line, you've got to avoid all these drivers in training. I really enjoy the fast-paced music too. It really matches the everyday franticness of a shopping mall. Number 4. Finally, we have a Wario track that isn't just made of mud or twisted metal. Wario's gold mine perfectly describes Wario's greedy nature. This is as close as a Mario Kart will ever get to an actual roller coaster. Beginning outside, you dip up and down on these minecart rails and make your way inside the mine while avoiding bats. Going over some amazing jumps, you'll get to see all the minecarts carrying gold. It's just so beautiful. I want to touch them, but ow! Right, don't touch them, they're bad. Before exiting the mine, you can take a twisted path to the finish line. Or my personal favorite is the shortcut filled with boost panels. It feels a lot more epic. It's one of the longer tracks in the game, so don't play it too many times, otherwise it might get a little dull. But other than that, it's still a fantastic track. Number 3. Maple Treeway has to be one of the most beautiful tracks in the whole Mario Kart series. It takes place in a tree during an autumn setting. The course starts out on a curvy downhill path that leads you straight to a cannon that will shoot you into a humongous tree. Making your way up to the top, you drive on branches without any guardrails. Once you're on the top, you reach a big open area with 2 giant wigglers that will try to get in your way. Again, you zigzag over some branches and make your way to a giant net that leads you straight to the finish line. For my personal preference, this is just a very fun track that isn't too easy or too hard, just huge amounts of fun. Number 2. Donkey Kong has some of the best tracks in the whole series. This one is no exception. DK Summit is a lot like DK Mountain from Mario Kart Double Dash. And if any of you have seen my top 10 Double Dash tracks, you know that is my favorite track. But if you haven't seen it, well, hint hint, go watch it after this video. Just like DK Mountain, this track begins with another cannon blast at the top of the mountain. You make your way over some huge jumps and get past some deep snow plots. After, you can perform lots of tricks over these tiny little bumps. The trickiest part is this S shape in the track with broken edges and a bottomless pit. The final section is a giant half pipe with deep snow and snowboarding shy guys. Then you've reached the finish line. By no means is this a complicated or even a difficult track. It's just so immensely fun racing down this mountain, and it was very close to being my number 1 track. But without a doubt, this has to be one of my favorite tracks of all time. It's creative, innovative, and just spectacular. Well, what is it, you ask? Koopa Cape. The music alone is so catchy and fun I could listen to it for minutes. Beginning the race next to a cliff, players make their way to a giant ramp and proceed to a grassy area where players can easily fall down or hit a Goomba. After a sharp left turn, players jump straight into a rushing river. And that's what's so spectacular about this track. The more you stay in the water, the faster you'll go. So everyone's playing tactically by putting their items in the water and taking as much space as possible. It becomes very frantic. Avoid using boost items, otherwise you'll knock yourself out of the water and lose valuable time. Reaching the end of the river, you fall down a waterfall into a giant pipe, driving through more water and avoiding electricity. After you emerge to the surface, you've reached the finish line. This track is just as amazing the first time I played it. My words can't even serve it justice. My only recommendation is you get out your Nintendo Wii from the closet and you play this track again. And if you haven't played this game, try it out for yourself. I guarantee you'll have lots of fun. And when you do, comment below on what your favorites are. And better yet, tell me what videos I should make next. I know a lot of my loyal viewers who have stuck with me all these years have been dying to see another Versus video. Oops, I may have said too much. Anyway, thank you for watching everyone. Bye bye!